Bonnie County, everyone. I'm Professor Alman Ra. This is the Conscious Corner, along with Professor and historian Joe Hembrick. And we're going to have an exciting show today. We're going to be focusing on reparations and a plan for reparations. We have a special guest, Brother Cliff Pruitt, who will present his plan for reparations. Then we'll have a general discussion about other plans and other ideas and respond to his plan for the argument and for reparations for Black people for the Holocaust of enslavement and the history of exploitation and abuse of Black people. So we're getting ready to start, and we want to thank Brother Cliff Pruitt for coming on, and he has developed a reparation sovereignty plan that he is saying that will should be considered as one of the processes of getting reparations. So, Brother Cliff, it's on you, but we can't see your face, but you can go ahead and read your program.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, everybody. And first, as always, we want to give praise and honor and glory to God, and thank Him for allowing us to convene with our most intellectual people available and to talk about reparations, because reparations today should be the most important issue with every Black person in this country, especially since we are not even close to equality decades after the Civil Rights Movement. So we have a serious issue on our hands now, and with the government considering providing reparations to Black people, we have to be very, very careful, because history proves that they will try to use the same methods to give us some political action like they did with welfare and affirmative action, and that will not be a positive scenario for Black people, as you know. So now, getting right into our plan, I am the chairman of two organizations, the African American Independent Union and the Sports, Entertainment, and Education Group. We have worked with other reparation groups and activists to produce the African American Reparations/Sovereignty Plan. And the plan focus is to get Black people their own land, just like others have with districts and reservations. It's critical for Black people to have our own land. That is the way to the solution of our problems. So now the plan utilizes a plebiscite vote for us to reach sovereignty. Now this, what I'm talking about, is political activity for Black people, for Black people to become proactive, for Black people to become engaged in another civil rights movement, if you will. So now the plebiscite vote is an internal vote that will happen among Black people only. It is a vote for Black people 18 years and older to decide if you would prefer to remain living in integration, or if you would rather prefer to live on your own land in sovereignty, like the Indians do on their reservations. And we also have the opportunity to repatriate. So now let me talk a little bit about the plebiscite vote, and then let's talk a little bit about integration and repatriation and sovereignty. The plebiscite vote is something that gives Black people a chance to claim that we are indigenous to this land. Contrary to popular belief, the first people that were on this land that has come to be known as North America were Black people. They were the ancient Olmecs from Africa. They arrived to this country about 10,000 years ago. They are the ones who built the early Mexican civilizations. They are the ones who the Native Americans are offspring of. So the plebiscite vote will give Black people an opportunity to claim that indigenous status so that we can get the rights of indigenous people. Black people do not have justice in integration, and that is not a mystery to anybody. That's why we continuously are killed by the police. They do not look at Black people as human. That's why it surprises me to know that Black people want to remain living in integration. But it doesn't really make any difference because the majority of Black people want to remain integrated because that is the only life that they know. They do not know anything about becoming a sovereign people in this country. So that's why we have to teach them about sovereignty. Now, the plebiscite vote gives Black people an opportunity to choose where they live instead of being forced into integration. Black people can choose to become sovereign, and they can choose to repatriate, or they can choose to remain in integration with the stipulation that we have programs to improve integration. And our AARS plan does include that. So now, when we look at the plebiscite vote in a circle, the plebiscite vote gives Black people an opportunity to live in all three of those settings. And that is what Black people need to have, an opportunity to choose where they live instead of being forced to remain in integration. We have a system together through this plan where we can get the government to designate us 40 square miles of land, similar to 40 acres and a mule, so we can build our own city. We can get these parcels of land in 4 southern states and 16 other states where there are large populations of Black people. This is what we want to start teaching our people, and so they can know that we can use our own people. We can use the Army Corps of Engineers, and we can use other people that have skills in building to actually build our own cities, our own infrastructure. And we can set up a situation to where we can educate and house and employ and provide health care for our people ourselves on our own territory. We have the ability to utilize our skills and our resources and our knowledge to do this. We can build our own cities much better than they built the reservations. We can build our cities similar to Beverly Hills. We can build our cities completely eloquent and exquisite, and they can be elite cities. We do not have to remain living in ghettos, and we shouldn't. After what we have withstood from the shores of Africa, chained up in houses like Goree Island, and we experience hundreds of years of the horrors of the Middle Passage, and we get to the shores of America in chains, and we have to suffer in bondage and misery for 250 years, and then for the next 100 years following slavery, we were segregated. And that continued the streak of misery and bondage for Black people. So now, when we get up to the situation to where we look at the civil rights movement, and we still are not equal, then we need to do something about it. And the best thing that Black people can do today is to become politically active through this plebiscite vote with a focus on sovereignty. We have to understand that when we talk about sovereignty for Black people, we're asking all Black people to go back to God and to keep God first in your life, so that when we get reparations, we utilize them wisely and we do not go on spending sprees. We need to understand that we're trying to get all of the reparations groups in this country together, because you probably have about 75 to 100 groups pushing for reparations. So we want to use this plan to unite all those reparations activists and reparation groups, and hopefully they can adopt the plan and agree that political action is what Black people need for reparations instead of just a check. We do not need to get reparations without a plan. When we get our reparations, we need to be just as concerned with repairing the damage that has been done to our people over the last 500 years as we are with getting the money. So now, in our hopes to unite all of the reparations groups around this plan, we can take it to the next level and try to unite the entire Black family with this plan. This is the vision that we have with this plan. People have been talking about bringing the Black family together for ages, but nobody is ever successful for a multitude of reasons. And sometimes those reasons do happen within our own family. But we have to expect that now as we move forward to make a hard push for reparations. We have to have some kind of methodology in order to try to get our people to unite. We just can't talk about it no more. We got to be about it. So we're trying to put this AR's plan forward to tackle the monumental issue of uniting the Black family. This is the best thing that Black people can do, and we can make sure that we achieve that goal with the plebiscite vote. Now, don't remember, the plebiscite vote gives us an opportunity to not only live in integration, we can improve integration, but we also can expand repatriation, and we can create sovereignty. Now, we have to understand that as we utilize the plebiscite vote, at the end of the day, we're trying to finish the civil rights movement with this AR's plan that features the plebiscite vote. Because when the civil rights movement ended with the death of Dr. King, Black people were forced into integration. And Dr. Ra, I know you remember.
Hey, Brother Cliff, we're
Yes.
about ready to go around the panel and see if there's any response to what you've said up to this point.
Okay, do that.
All right. Brother Hembrick is giving you first recognition as a co-host of the Conscious Corner. And do you have any questions at this point or any comments?
Not at this time. I'm probably later. I want to hear more of what his presentation is before I comment.
Okay. What about you? Okay, what about you, good doctor?
Yeah, same thing. I got a question, but I want to hear a little bit more
Okay.
on what he's saying before I make a comment.
Aziza, do you have any comments?
Not at this moment, thank you.
What about Kelly? Kelly, do you, as a guest?
I think I'm okay. I'd rather hear more.
All right, Brother Mashinda?
Yes, sir. Good evening. Yes, I just chimed in, so I'm listening, and I'll be asking some questions later. Thank you.
All right, there's somebody on an iPhone. Did you have any questions or comments?
No, not at this time. This is Brother Teddy, man. I appreciate it, but I'll just listen on.
All right, I got a few things I'd like to ask Brother Pruitt.
Okay.
First of all, appreciating what you said, if I understand it correctly. You're saying that we need to declare sovereignty and get some land, and that we need land that, from a standpoint of as an indigenous people, as an indigenous people, and that we would be able to develop ourselves away from forced integration or desired integration that some people work toward. How does that work with regards to when you say sovereignty? Are you saying declare ourselves a nation here in independent nation within the United States, or under that sovereignty? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that is absolutely right. We're definitely going along those lines, and that's why we have to utilize the plebiscite vote in order to get to the position to where
what kind of vote you call that? Because I can't make it out. Plebiscite? Oh.
No, it's a plebiscite.
Plebiscite.
Right.
And what does that mean?
A plebiscite vote is an internal vote for Black people only that are 18 and older to determine if they would rather prefer to live in integration or if they would rather become a sovereign people, or if they would rather repatriate to Africa or down south or any other place in the diaspora where Black people were either enslaved or exploited.
So how would they register? Who would centralize? Who would count the votes? That's expensive. Print out the ballots. Is it going to be ballots? I mean, how
Yeah, we're gonna get all this done through the church, and oh no, we're gonna do it electronically over the internet. It will be much easier, and it'll be easier to keep track of the people who we need to include on whatever model of reparation that they choose. So that's the reason why we're going to do it electronically instead of by ballot, because we can get everybody to vote on 4 different scenarios on the same ballot, which is what we want to do.
Well, the Nation of Islam has always said do for self, and they've talked about the Sun Belt, the southern states, as being asking the United States to declare the southern, about 4 or 5 southern states as land for Black people, and white folks say they wanted the 4 or 5 territories up north. What is the difference between the Do for Self program of the Nation of Islam advocacy versus your sovereignty plan? Is there a difference in Do for Self and,
no,
one land?
No, there really is no difference. As a matter of fact, I had actually reached out to the Muslims for us to work together on this project, but unfortunately, a lot of the people that go to church every Sunday, they really just are not ready for the language that sometimes comes out of the expressions of the slave master from our dear beloved Muslim brothers. And I agree with them 100%, but a lot of my fellow Christians are not ready to work in that light yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to have them we're going to try to work side by side with them so that we can still have a united family in this country as we work toward nation building, but we will have some areas where there'd be some cities for Muslims, because we're sure they're going to build more than one city for themselves, because to my understanding, they already started their move to separate. So sovereignty and the Muslims' form of separation are basically the same thing. Just, we don't want to get into the rhetoric that they use, because we don't want to make this man any madder than he already is. He already went to the lab with his mad scientists and then put AIDS and the coronavirus on. I don't want to make him no madder than he already is.
Well, there's been many groups that have tried to argue we need our own state, we need our own land here. And
yeah.
They had some in Tulsa and Greenwood, I forget that shit. There've been a lot of Black towns, countries, areas where Black people operated their own towns and things of this nature. But the problem is, are there going to be taxes? Are you going to have a military? Are you going to have what type of government would be in a sovereign reparation state that you propose?
And that's the good thing about sovereignty, because we will form our own government, and we will have the military build a small military base at our cities, because history proves that we will have some racial resistance.
Okay.
That could end up in multiple and the total fatality.
Okay, I have one more question.
Okay.
We have a working class. Some of them like to call themselves middle class, but we always argue we don't have a Black middle class. We have a Black working class and a moderate class that are living in integrated areas, and they are comfortable there. So, and if they're allowed to vote, many of them say they don't want to leave America and don't want to leave their communities and where they are, and don't want to be in an all-Black land or all Black schools. They see themselves as Americans, like Colin Powell, and many of them are ex-veterans. They are loyal to this country. How do we educate them, or do you think there'll be some resistance toward a Black isolationist sovereignty nation when you have so many people that are like you had blacks for Trump, you know. I mean, how you
Yeah, I still can't believe that, but I know
Yeah.
you are right though. Yes.
Yeah, so how you deal with the class conflict we have among black people? You know, we have a class
Okay.
issue.
Well,
Do your plan take that into consideration? That's my point.
yes, it does.
No, okay. All right. Well, go
Okay.
ahead with the rest of your plan. They want to hear more.
Well, let me respond to that question first, and then I'll continue with the plan. Okay, so your question was dealing with the class differences in our people and those who want to remain integrated versus those of us who want to remain, those of us who want to gain sovereignty and those of us who want to repatriate. So again, the plebiscite vote is a political vehicle that will enable Black people in this country to live in all three models so that we can have an agenda that will include every Black person in this country, and we can really push to unite our people with pride and unity and to make a massive push for reparations. So if we have a political vehicle that will enable Black people to live in all three models, then all we need to do is just educate our people about the three models and they have a choice. And just because a Black person wants to remain integrated, we can't get mad at them. I mean, we fought the civil rights movement with whites and Jews walking and dying by our side for Black people to have equality and integration. So yeah, them Black people that want to remain integrated, they should remain integrated. We should not force anybody to do anything. That's why we want to have the plebiscite vote and give Black people an opportunity to become a sovereign people. You know, a big part of sovereignty is changing your mental thoughts. It's changing your thought process from being expecting for other people to take care of you to you taking care of yourself. And the real reason why we push for sovereignty is because Black people still don't have equal opportunity in this country, period, 40 years after the civil rights movement, 60 years after the civil rights movement, and we are still victims of police brutality at an alarmingly high rate. It is outrageous, and Black people should be enraged all over this country and be ready to get politically active to remove ourselves from that nonsense and all this AIDS and coronavirus.
Okay. We can go ahead with the rest of your plan. People want to hear some more.
Okay, very, very good. Yes. Okay, so now the plebiscite vote also gives Black people an opportunity to claim our indigenous status. Okay, we have to remember that Black people are indigenous to this land, and that's why we want to become a sovereign people. We have a right to this land more so than anybody. So now we have to understand that Blacks use the plebiscite vote again to put ourselves in a position to remove ourselves from the harm in integration and to create our own peaceful and prosperous life in sovereignty. We form our own government. We control all the systems. We educate, house, employ, and provide health care for our people. And we are in control of everything within our 40-mile borders. So we want the government to give us 40 square miles of land, 2 parcels of 40 square miles of land, so we can begin to build some cities for our people next year. And if we can put ourselves in a position to get Black people to understand that we do have alternatives to living into integration with this plebiscite vote, then I think it would make an impact in our community and put us on a road to reconciling our differences and having an opportunity to unite our people in this country. Everybody knows that there's power in numbers, and the reason why they have us in the position that they have us in is because we are so divided. If we had a plan to move around, or if we had a group or some groups that was leading the entire race of Black people in this country, we would be a very formidable force. So we're working towards that, and we know Black people have been talking about it for ages, but this is what we need to do. We need to talk about these three models of of reparations after we talk about the plebiscite vote. Okay, we need to talk about it. So we have the plebiscite vote to claim an indigenous status and to give us an opportunity to live in some different settings other than integration, which are sovereignty and repatriation. So when we get ready to engage the plebiscite vote, we need to make sure the Black people understand that when we say improving integration, that we're talking about getting into all of these institutions with case studies, okay? Now, when you talk about having a case study on an institution, for instance, let us talk about education. People say that Black people are getting a good education today, but people who are in the business of education know that is not true, because there are still some cases around this country where Black people are still segregated from the best education, and you know that. So now what we would do with a 5-year case study, we're going to form an AARS Congress to carry out this AARS plan. Our AARS Congress members will go into the education institution, and we will find out why it is that Black people are continuing to be having limited opportunities and why they're even being shut out of some areas. Again, 46 years after the Civil Rights Movement. So we do need to do something, and we need to do it in a rapid way, because I'm telling you, the future, like the present, is bleak for African Americans, and it's like Black people don't even realize it. But we're in serious trouble, and we are under a medical attack with this age and this corona, and we better wake up and be very, very careful. So when we talk about becoming politically active, we're talking about finding some solutions for our problems that have been lingering since the Civil Rights Movement. We still have the same problem today that we had back in the Civil Rights Movement. So we need to become politically active again, and we may have to have another Civil Rights Movement around the plan to get reparations for Black people. We need to do something. It just is not fair for the government to have given other people reparations when all of them combined didn't suffer the damage and endure the suffering that Black people have endured, all of them combined. So it really just is not fair. So what we want to do is put a plan forward to let Black people study so that they can understand the options that they have with the plebiscite vote, and so they can understand what the plebiscite vote is. It's important that we do that. It's critical. So that's the position that we have. And I would like to know right now, does anybody have any questions about the plan up to this point?
I will start again with Brother Hembrick, historian Hembrick. Do you have any questions up to this point?
Yes, sir. And appreciating you on, brother, and the whole concept of what you represent.
But just a minute, Joe. Just a minute, Joe. Brother Hendrick is a longtime historian, educator. He's been a teacher, a vice principal, right, Joe? And a counselor for Linwood and Compton Unified. He last was administrator for the Davis Junior High, but he also was at high school Centennial. But he is an in-depth historian of ancient history of Black people and Maya, and one of our co-hosts. So Joe, go ahead.
Yeah. Appreciate that, Brother Robert. I'm just a brother from the project. But look here, brother, there's a long history, with all that you mentioned. Even the indigenous thing, I understand, which most Black people think you're crazy when you mention us as far as indigenous status here in America, actually in the Western Hemisphere. And then, getting on reparations, they've owed us from the Freedmen's Bureau was $150 million since 1877 that they haven't given up.
And they also stole some land too, yes.
Land and all that. But my thing is, I realize what they owe us, but I ain't got a thought in my mind about that cracker ever giving it up without being forced to give it up. And when you talk about political power and whatnot, our numbers in this country are not what they used to be. And unless they grant, all the brothers and sisters in the pen the right to vote again, we got a problem in that area. But this is my contention.
Mhm.
I know they ain't gonna give up nothing, but I would ask of them, and I would ask, and I hope this is in your proposal. Let us be exempt from any taxes for 350 years. Don't pay no federal income tax, no state tax, no capital gains tax, none of that. Okay? It ain't gonna cost them a dime, okay? And they can give it up, because if they do give us any money, which is what most rank and file want, so they're gonna spend it on jury and rims any damn way,
Right.
and give it right back to them. Now, this is what I propose, that we can do this without the help from them at all.
Mhm.
If we would just unite, stop engaging in this stuff that don't have nothing to do with us, these holidays where we spend all this money, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, Easter, all that. And what we need to do is get back to knowing thyself, prior to us coming here. I've heard you mention the Muslim thing and then the Christianity thing. That's also a part of what we got from him. That ain't from us. So, we need to analyze that also, because oftentimes that's a hindrance from us uniting, which you mentioned yourself in the show this evening. So, but I love the thing about the land. I love the thing about nature, by growing the food. Skill level wise, we know when the playing field is equal, we outrank everyone as far as our DNA series go. So, these things we can do ourselves if we stop giving all this money to those things I mentioned. And even also on Sunday, all the money that Black people across the country put in churches and synagogues and mosques every Sunday or Saturday, whenever it is. That's enough fund right there that could be generated and starting exactly what you're talking about without the government at all. But if they do want to kick in, great, which I don't think they will, because they're shooting us every day. What make us think some people that's shooting us down every day gonna give us what you're asking for? So I appreciate what you're saying, what your message is, but I think something more reasonable, like you say, you don't want to make him no more madder than he already is. Well, he already shooting us down like dogs. So if we don't want nothing from you but no taxes forever, 350 years. So anyway, that's my comment. Appreciate what you said, brother. And I probably talked too long. Next person's turn. Thank you.
No, you didn't.
All right, brother, doctor, you have any questions or discussion?
Yeah, I think there's a few. Good one more thing Brother Hembrick was saying. I think probably right now, I don't know the exact numbers, but I would say at least 50%. 50% of Blacks don't pay taxes as it is right now because their income is too low. And another thing, brother, you got the right tax man. You won't be paying taxes right now. All the rich don't pay taxes. So, I mean, that's no issue. But I do agree with what you and the brother Hembrick was saying. I like this brother's ideal. I've been saying it all along. But the only problem is, he's talking the end game. And brother Pruitt mentioned it, and brother Hembrick just said it, and you kind of mentioned it, Ra. Know thyself, getting along. This will never be achieved, man, because we can't get along. So you're gonna tell me you're gonna get 45 million Blacks land in the whole city? That won't work, man. That won't work.
But can I interject?
I mean, no. I like your ideal. I agree with it. We have to, like Brother Hembrick said, we got to work on ourselves first, man, before we get any of that. We're just like we're like financially literate. You can give every Black person here $10 million and 90% would be broke in a couple of minutes because we're financially literate. We're basically like you said, being what you were saying, we're kind of illiterate trying to be running something on our own right now and the way we think. Like the ideal, I like the land. You didn't mention anything about money, which is great. But for me, all I need, man, I just need dual citizenship. Just give me that second passport and the citizenship somewhere else. That's all I need. I don't need your land. I don't need your money. Just give me a citizenship somewhere in an African country. Dual citizenship. That's all I need, man. Nothing else from these people. If they can work something out that, or I can get me a dual citizenship, a second passport, anywhere else besides the United States, I'd be happy. And that's just me. But I love the land. Great concept, great ideal, but like Brother Hendrick said, know thyself, man. We're not ready for that. I think the problem is you're jumping to the end game. We need to work out our problems first, before we try, get all this land and stuff before we even like each other. I think it'll be big problems, man. We don't get ourselves together first before we get that stuff. But keep working for it. I love it. If it came down to my vote, yeah, I mean, first question I say, you got to look at it. Where's the land going to be at? How much are we going to get? How fertile is that land? What part of the country is that land? Do you get to vote what state? Is it going to be in certain states? There's a lot of logistics and other things you got to issue. How are you going to run it? Who's going to be governing it? Who's had those elections? And you're talking about, the Brother Robinson, you're talking about doing something electronically, man. We're going to get hacked because we're the Black people, the only ones that don't know how to run computer stuff, man. We will get hacked. I like the ideal, but you got to look at it I look at things, you got to look at the worst. And one other question I want to say, give me the pros and cons of if everything that you said we should get, give me the pros and cons, because we're going to have some problems. I just want to know what the problems we will have if we got everything you said. There has to be some problems. So can you name some of the problems that you would see in the future if we had everything according to your plan, if it all worked out? What problems we run into as Black people working together?
Well, we would run into the problem of knowing thyself, and we'd run into the problem that Black people have of trusting each other from the effects of that Willie Lynch indoctrination. So there are many differences that we have among our people today, yes, but again, the plebiscite vote will give Black people an opportunity to choose. And it's important that we know that. And by the way, I just want to mention to you that you and Brother Joe Henry, both of you guys mentioned some very good and valid points. And fortunately for us, we have the answers for all of those questions on our plan. When you guys read the plan, then you will discover that we have everything covered. We have been studying this issue for 40 years, my dear friend, and we are going to approach reparations from 4 different fronts. So we're going to multitask going after reparations in a hard way, like you never seen before. So, and we're going to try to bring our people together with this plan. So we have again, been studying this issue for 40 years. And when you read the plan, brother, you're going to be very, very pleased and satisfied. And I'm telling you right now, the only thing that we don't have on there is not paying taxes for 350 years, because we believe just like you do, brother. We don't pay that much tax already anyway, because Black people poor. But we believe that the government is going to give us reparations because they're in closed doors right now behind the walls of Congress talking about giving Black people reparations, and they're going to try to come out with something so that they can just give us some money, but they don't want to let us have a plan so we can do everything that both you and Joe just said. We can take care of all of those. Now, as far as putting 45 million people in one city, we're not going to do that. The plan states that we're going to build cities for 1 million Black people. The city of Manhattan is 33.7 square miles. There are 1.63 million people that live in Manhattan. So we want to have our cities to be 40 square miles of land for 1 million Black people. And we want to get 20 different areas of land with 40 square miles to build cities for our Black people, and we're going to build them, 4 of them in 4 southern states, and the other 16 places will be in states that are largely populated by Black people. So we have a good plan, and we have it drawn out very, very well. And I just hope everybody takes the time to read it. It's
Okay.
on our website.
All right. Brother Mashinda? Mashinda, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. What about Sister Aziza? Any questions to this point?
Not at this point, but I like everything that he's saying and all the comments.
Brother Kelly, Miss Kelly, do you have any comments?
Yes, I do. I see the benefit in taking a serious look at this series of approaches. I'm curious to hear how actually it's going to be laid out and what the level of participation would probably be coming from the plebiscite votes to find what number of people want to be in each of those categories of seeking freedom. I'd like to understand a little bit about the teaching that people are going to have to go through so that they're prepared for the new lives that they'll lead in all these different areas if they choose different places to be.
Mm-hmm. All right. Did you have a response, Brother Pruitt?
Oh, yes, I did. Thank you, Sister Kelly. That was a very insightful question, because the plebiscite vote is the key to political activity for Black people. That's what we're going to try to stress, and the way that we're going to educate our people is with this plan, and that's why we put it on the website so everybody can go to it and read it. This is something that the Black community can do within the next 30 to 60 days. All everybody has to do is just read the plan. I put it on the website, and like I say, when you read the plan, it will invigorate you and give you hope for the future, because we do not have to stay here and remain living as victims to this police brutality and this medical maltreatment. They're killing us. We need to get away. We need to have a Passover city.
Okay.
God gonna deal with these people one day or soon.
All right. Brother Pastor Kevin Stafford, would you like to comment?
Yes, sir. How are you this evening?
Black as I can be, brother. And
there you go.
Hey,
listen, I'm very excited about what I'm hearing, and I am familiar with the document. I have read it, and many insightful commentary has arose tonight. Very good questions, and I believe that the document addresses many of the concerns, especially the concerns concerning how we would handle any monetary gain as a people. One of the things that I feel very confident about with regard to the plan is that there's financial literacy that is a part of the plan. There's drug and rehab counseling that's a part of the plan. So it's very comprehensive, and it seeks to address many of the concerns that plague our people. So I'm all for it.
All right, and Pastor Stanford, I think I've heard you minister at Zion.
Yes, you have. Yes, sir. That's right. Yeah. I remember you. Yeah, man.
Yeah, Mary Taylor.
Yes. That's my.
I'm married to her daughter. But,
I remember, man.
Yeah. You're a very powerful minister, brother. Appreciate you.
Blessings on you, brother.
Okay.
Blessings on you.
All right. iPhone. Any comment?
Yeah, brothers, thanks a lot for all the comments here. Brother Cliff, I want to commend you for speaking on the plan. I had an opportunity to read some of it a couple months ago. Just very impressed with the idea that we are trying to come up with take this concerted effort to really address inequity that's been going on for 400 to 500 years. And we believe that not only that we'll be solving the problem for Black folks, but this is a bigger problem even than that, to really identify the mistreatment of people, right? We start looking at it from a humanitarian standpoint. but really addressing the fact that this is a group of people that have been mistreated and there needs to be some type of reparations there. Brothers, I just want to add to the conversation is saying this is not a problem that's going to be solved overnight. Again, I want to commend those who are part of constructing the plan. This might be a 400 or 500 year solution that we're working on, but I think to have a start and begin to have conversation that can help us really have clarity and begin to have more focus moving forward is what's needed. All the ideas, all the Brother Hendrick, I appreciate just the realness. I've spoken with you on the phone also before in the past, brother. That's to be able to identify that and say, you know what, I don't think these people are gonna give us anything. And that might be the reality. But also know that we got to put something on paper to begin to demand something. If we can get people around that idea and we get as many people, millions of people to begin to believe that there needs to be something done about this mistreatment of our people for 400 to 500 years. And hopefully people begin to understand that. But again, I just wanted to just comment on that. It was great. All the comments, everybody's input was fantastic. But I think this is a start of something that might last decades or centuries to begin to really solve this problem. But again, I want to let the brothers know that, and the sisters know who are part of this construction of the plan, that you're commended on the work that you're putting forth. We're not going to be able to solve every single problem, but I think the first step is to have something on paper. Whether we all agree on that right now or not, we can work that out as we go move forward and figure out the best strategy for being able to have the type of outcome we're looking for. But thanks a lot. Thanks for bringing me on the call, man. And it's a great opportunity to be able to share with you guys, man. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment, caller.
Brother Rashaki.
Yes, I wanted to present that plan, Brother Cliff.
Yes.
I need the website and I wanted to show people.
Okay.
Are you able to give me that website?
Yes, sir. I can give it to you right now. Do you have a pen and a paper handy?
No, I can. I'm about to put it in now and then I'm gonna share it.
Okay. It is HTTPS colons.
Okay.
HTTPS.
Okay, you're going to the main one. Okay,
HTTPS colon //
Okay.
AAIU.
Okay.
That's AAIU and then END.
END.
And then RACISM. That's AAIU end racism.org.
Okay.
Okay, could you repeat that to me? Let me make sure you have
Okay,
it.
I don't have it all.
Okay, let me give it to you one more time because this is very, very important to me.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, it's HTTPS.
Okay, colon //
Right, and then AAIU.
Got that.
END.
EN what?
D.
D is in David.
Got it. Okay.
And then racism. RACISM.
Okay, and that's
all
it.
one word.
Got it.
.org.
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 .org. Okay.
Now click and tell me if it come up.
Okay. Okay. You know what? Let me work on it. Okay, keep going. I get it.
All right. I got a few comments I want to bring up, Brother Pruitt.
Hey, Rod, did you get that address? Did you write that down?
Rashaki is writing it down. I got a copy of the plan. You send it to me, but I just want to say this, and from as Brother Joe was saying, from a historical standpoint, the argument for Black reparations is a historical thing. Ever since the Civil War, Black people have been arguing for reparations. Even the 40 acres and the mule, to the Free Man Bureau. There have been various organizations, and we have
Mr. Kelly House.
yeah, there's been a lot of efforts by in a book called Black Reparations. James Foreman went into a Christian church in New York and got $5
You
million.
said the Black Manifesto, right?
Yeah, the Black Manifesto. He got $5 million, I think. And then we have HR 40 that was introduced in 1989 by John Conyers. It's now being revitalized by Texas Representative Sheila Lee, asking for Congress to study reparations. We have a national group called NCOBRA, the National Coalition for Black Reparations, who is one of the oldest groups, contemporary group, as well as ADOLPH, which is Africans only could get reparations if they can prove their descendants of people that were enslaved. You have Omari Opadeli, the Republic of New Africa. He passed, but the organization has been pushing for reparations.
Right.
There's a number of groups and organizations. Ron Daniels, African Americans for Black, African for reparations. He has a 10-point plan that's on his website, and most people are referring to him, Dr. Ron Daniels. The Coweta approach is that we, as you said, are having a wide discussion about reparations and education. Educate people, because some people don't even know what it is. They haven't decided how to define reparations. Some people argue for money, some people argue for tax relief, some people argue. There are some groups that's already paying some small groups, splinter groups, reparations. Georgetown is saying that they're going to provide free tuition to Black people.
Professor Raw.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I address the money issues for your audience just for a moment, please, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, the people should be familiar with the Marshall Plan. And what happened with the Marshall Plan was that they rebuilt Germany. And the way that they did that was by a program to where you can generate wealth. So now I can feel what Brother Hendrick is saying, talking about them people would never give us no money. So what we did is we found out the function of the Marshall Plan, and we have found that we can get those people who are guilty of enslaving Black people, and they have made these hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars off of us being enslaved. We found a program where we could get them to put $5 billion into the program as seed money, and we can generate anywhere from 100 billion to $3 trillion off of it in 1 year. So this is the plan that we have in effect, and it is on the plan. When you read about it, you'll see it. So it's very important that people understand when you go to the website, you have to go to section 8 and read the first 2 articles. That's where the plan is on the website. You have to go to section 8, and it's the first 2 articles. And it will tell you about generating wealth for reparations, because it is basically a common thought that people will not, these people, especially in this country, will not give Black people justice in any time, place, form, shape, form, or fashion. But we have made it easy for those people who have enslaved us to give us our money back. And that's how we're going to do it right there with this plan. So when you read the plan and you discover that, instead of saying, look here, Rothschilds, you owe us $1 trillion for reparations, we can go to them and say, look here, Rothschild, put $5 billion into this program. Let us generate $200 billion off of it in 1 year, and then we give you your $5 billion back. Or you can choose to take 20 billion out of the 200 billion. See, now we know that we can talk to these people when it comes to money in that manner, because everybody wants to make money. So that's how we put it together, and it's a good plan. and I can't wait for people to respond to it when you read it on the website.
And appreciate what you said, if I understand correctly. The argument was not about, a lot of these groups are not arguing about money. They, from a Coweta perspective, they argue we need a conversation.
Well, no.
About reparations, a national conversation.
I was addressing the brother that said the white folks would never give us nothing. So I wanted to make sure that he understood that, because we don't have to ask them for anything, and we're just telling them to put some money forward for seed money and let us generate our own wealth. And we have programs to take care of all the vices and all the deficiencies that we have. You have to read the plan to understand where we're going.
Okay.
Okay. Professor Rob.
Yeah.
So can I ask him exactly where people can get the plan on the website? It's right here.
The plan is on the website on section 8. It's the first 2 articles on section 8, sir, on the website.
Okay, here's the website. Can you see it?
I see the website. Can you go to the right? All the way to the right.
Okay.
Can you go all the way to the right where it says more?
Yes, click more.
Click
okay.
on that.
And
Now
go to
down
collective
section 8.
response.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Click
so
on that. And there it is, part 1. And right under that is part 2. That's the plan, sir.
Okay.
That's only part 1, sir. Scroll down, you can see part 2. There you go.
The business plan.
Go.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. And thank you for your input. I really appreciate you.
As I was saying, there's an argument that there should be a widespread education and conversation about reparations as inclusive as could. A part of the reparations issue is America and the colonies that enslaved African people before America was formed. The Spaniards, the Dutch, all of those, because it's an international issue. And then should the Africans on the continent,
we addressed that in the plan as well.
Let me finish. As Brother Hembrick always points out, that most of the Black people went to Brazil, and are they included in the reparation plan? The other thing is,
yes, they are.
Okay, then, so we need a national and international apologies from all those that participated in it.
Yes.
That has to be a part of it. And then second, develop an overarching organization to synthesize all the various proposals for reparations. And, you know, as Shirley Weber in California, she passed a state Senate bill, and it's been signed, and they have formed a commission to study reparations for people in California. Georgetown is giving free tuition to descendants of the Holocaust of enslavement, as well as there are 11 mayors in 11 cities that are proposing to pay reparations. And I think in Tallahassee or in some in Detroit, they're talking about giving people money to buy homes. So there's a lot of stuff that's already going on. My point is that, you know, this is a very challenging subject, and it's going to be building a Black United Front or a consensus of Black people to migrate or to formulate a land for themselves is new and is challenging, because you got some mega churches from Bishop Blake, as well as brother in Texas, the T.D. Jakes and Noel Jones, them, they ain't going nowhere. You understand?
Hey, Brother Rob, I ain't mad at them. If I was them, I wouldn't go nowhere either. But I'm getting up out of here.
Wait a minute. I didn't say they weren't for reparations. They just
no. I understand that they are for reparations for sure, but they want to stay where they are. They comfort where they are, and there's nothing wrong with that. The plan tells them they should do that. But we are just saying we need to become politically active so we can provide our people some
That's my
opportunities
other
for choice.
point.
We
That's
do
two
not, we should not
points that you
continue to
made.
be forced to live in integration.
Well, first of all, the civil rights movement never ended because Martin Luther King was assassinated. There were two tendencies to the Black movement in the 60s. There was a civil rights movement, which is an integrationist movement, and a Christian movement, as led by the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, when Reverend Abernathy, along with Reverend Dr. King. And then there was a Black nationalist or Black power movement that was inspired by young people in colleges, started Black studies, started Black student union, and started Black power movement. So this liberation movement. Reparations came out of the Black power movement, not the civil rights movement.
That don't make any difference. The only point that I'm trying to make is that we all come together because there's room for us to approach the situation from different angles. And I'm gonna tell you right now, from my recollection, when Dr. King got assassinated, the civil rights movement was over.
Well, I'm not going to get into all that. I respectfully disagree with that, because you have a number of civil rights groups are still fighting for it. People are still fighting for the right to vote. People are still fighting for equal education. People are still fighting for the right to move where they want to move. Those are all civil rights issues, and equal opportunity in jobs. And people fought after Martin Luther King.
They were just ineffective. Nothing was nearly as effective as the civil rights movement was. Not even close.
Well, again, you wouldn't have Black studies, and you wouldn't have Black movements as far as Black power movements and Black consciousness movements and struggle. Black Lives Matter movement. You wouldn't have the progress you had if you didn't have Black power movements and Black empowerment movement. That was a very motivating thing for young people. They weren't part of the civil rights movement, some of them, But the point is that I just say that we need an overarching discussion, and to take in all these other people that have been working on reparations prior to your plan, and going all the way back to the 80s and the 70s with Cobra and Imario Padelli, the Republic of New Africa. They've all been fighting, and they have plans too, and we need to synthesize them and come up with a formula of how to extrapolate realistic. But what Brother Hembrick said, it's easy to ask for things, and it's easy to put out plans. The hard part is to implement them. And as Brother Doctor said, how do you make this government let you do that? Everyone is for reparations, but since we hadn't gotten them yet, why haven't we gotten them yet? It's because we have not developed a political or other forms of pressure to make the government give it, except for, like you said, there have been groups that have identified insurance companies, colleges, and other independent private institutions and making them pay some reparations. But those are isolated things.
Yeah, and that is not good for Black people.
I didn't say it was. I'm just letting you know that's what's going on.
Divisive again. We need to have a plan synthesized together, like you said, with all of the reparation plans. And I'm gonna tell you something. That's what the ARS plan is. We have got a lot of ideas from our great scholars of the past, and we even went back to Amos Wilson, Blueprint for Black Power. I mean, when you read the plan, you will discover that it is a little bit of everybody in there, and that's why we believe that we can unite the Black family with that plan. So we just want to make sure that we get Black people to read the plan, and then we can have a conversation about it.
All right. Any
Professor Rob.
Yes.
Can I kind of add to this?
Yes.
Now, I want to share with everybody the website that we're under. Both the programs, the Conscious Corner and the CEN show. So it comes from the website, Community Education Network. And along with what Cliff is talking about, we have a section called the Community Actions. And just about what he's saying, there is other, ideals that people could kind of become a part of, along with what Brother Cliff is talking about. Dr. Terry Strong, author and a minister, she also has a plan that she's putting together called the Black Table. And I think it's right along the lines of Brother Cliff's plan. So the thing is, we have to actually start, like you read Brother Cliff's plan, his organization, read that, and I guess, we come back and discuss it. And we have to get started with doing things. I'm glad he came on with the reparations and sovereignty plan. We actually have to start making moves towards plans like that, and getting the ideas out there. And then along with the ideas being put out there, people get more and more education. So this is why we're here right now. So I commend Brother Cliff for doing what he's doing in his organization. We have to start making moves on it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, person have any comments?
Yeah, Brother Raw, I just have one more comment for the evening. And just to address the civil rights thing that was brought up about, it ended with the assassination of Martin Luther King. I just want to say this, that in terms of looking at, where we need to go as a people, prior to that whole civil rights thing that came on the scene, and, people want the right to vote, I want to take us back to an era of the late 1800s and early 1900s when Black people owned things. We had schools, we had hotels, we had restaurants, we had transportation stuff going on. And after the civil rights movement, it seems as though, we gave up all that to sit next to white people and drink a cup of coffee or stay in a hotel. So in our vision of where we need to go, we need to be looking at what time was it best for us. They might have been hanging us, they might have been still shooting us, but we had our own. And I used to challenge my students. I say, go tell me somewhere in your community you could spend your money, with somebody that looks like you, other than the dope man and the barbershop. And they can't name them. So I just want us to focus in, and as we're analyzing these plans, which ones had us doing the best? I'm not even going to deal with the Garvey movement, which was it was like the 10th power to anything else we've ever had on as far as this country goes, with with the plans, with what we're doing, hooking up on the international level through the UNIA and the Black Star Line and all of that. So I just want to end by saying we can do it, just us. We don't need nobody but us. But until we look in that mirror and can love what's looking back at us, we got a ways to go. So that's all my comment for this evening. Thank you.
All right.
I have
All right.
one question. Yeah,
Go ahead, Doc.
I'm reading I was reading the website when you first started. The 18 trillion, I see the investments. And you're talking about, you're paying some of this money back, but where's the ROI? Where are you getting that back from? Because I see you investing in schools, hospitals, freeways, you're doing everything which you do run a city, a community, a world. But how are you making that money back? Where's that coming from?
Okay, that's a good question. And again, our SEEG source has a Marshall Plan program, the same way that they rebuilt Germany. They have a program where they put seed funding in and they generate wealth off of the money. And these people, they know about these programs. See, Black people don't know about these programs, but white people know about them. So that's why I'm going to them and telling them that we discovered this program and we want to use it to generate wealth for reparations. And they have a big return on investment. You cannot imagine how big the returns are. But if we're talking about generating wealth, we're not talking about making no investments, sir. Okay?
No, but you're saying you spend 18 million.
No, I didn't say that.
On the plan, you raise it, you want 18 million, I mean, 18
No.
trillion, 18 trillion.
There
I'm
you
sorry,
go. There
18
you
trillion. And you were saying how you put into the community to invest, that you can make amount to give back. Now, the world knows, the world makes money off of us. That's how they get their money. How are we gonna make money off of us?
We're not gonna make money off of us, brother.
So how,
The
who we
program,
gonna make money off of? To pay
the
this back, what you say in your program thing? Some of this
no.
back.
The
Some of this-
program,
yeah,
the program that we utilize to generate wealth
correct.
will enable us to build our cities and implement all the programs that we need to take care of ourselves
Say,
within our borders.
what programs to generate wealth?
It's something called, it's a Marshall Plan like program. Are you familiar with the Marshall Plan?
No.
Oh, okay, I'm
Where
sorry.
where can I go at and find that out?
You can go, you can type in Marshall Plan right on your computer. You can find everything on your computer. Just type in Marshall Plan and it'll tell you all about it.
Okay,
That's how they rebuilt Germany.
okay.
Okay, so that's why I'm telling you, we need to utilize this kind of program because we need that type of money. We don't need
Now, is
talking about
Marshall Plan in your on your webpage? You explain that?
Yes,
Is it somewhere in your? 'Cause I'm on your page now, looking and not seeing you
Yes,
guys. I'm looking at your page.
yes, it is mentioned in there, brother.
Okay.
All right.
Does it explain it somewhere?
The program where it's said to generate wealth is
Yeah.
in there, brother. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Just like I say, man.
I like the ideal, man. I love it.
No. I appreciate your questions like that because only thing that does is just make us stronger. Because just like Amon Ra said, we got to sit back and let people criticize because they're gonna do that, and it's part of the process. And we want that to happen because, just like I say, at the end of the day, that's just gonna make the plan stronger. When people read the plan and they get their questions answered, I'm telling you, brother, we can mobilize.
I love the program, and especially like when you said, "Hey, if you don't want to go, you can stay here."
Exactly.
That's the same thing I've been saying. Like I said, I wanted that. You know, there's over 50 countries in the continent of Africa.
Yes.
I think about 40 of them are solid Black. You know, so 45, let's say 45 countries.
Yeah.
So we should be able to work out a deal with 45 countries to take at least 1 million of us as citizens, dual citizenship, with that second passport.
Hey, Doc,
and if you don't want to go, you can stay here.
Oh, that's right, Doc. Let me just say this to you, Doc. I'm glad that you said that because on that website, if you go to section 9, the last article, we do mention that Black people should have dual citizenship. So I know you know what you're talking about, brother, because that is the way that Black people can start the cultural and family repairing process. We have to have dual citizenship. We need to get back to the place to where we are from.
Right, because they don't, man, these guys are getting these dual citizenships in St. Kitts and these other little countries with the dual citizenship, the second passport, man. If you have to flee here, you're gonna need a passport to get to another country.
Yeah.
It'd be great to have one if you're a citizen somewhere, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need land or anything. Just give me that second citizenship and I'll be okay.
Go down to the last article.
If something ever happens here, we can flee.
Oh, yeah.
And I will say this, hey, put in the plan, because you know if you want to give up your citizenship here, you got to pay.
Scroll down to the last article. The next article. There it is right there. Now stop right there. You see the last sentence on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th paragraph. Can you see that? The last sentence.
Yeah, Black should be also get dual citizenship to Africa. Or there is a former Black citizen. Yeah, I agree. 1,000% with that, man.
All right.
Right. Matter of fact, I would pay my own. Do it because, like I said, St. Kitts, they can work out the deal, man, where we can pay $10,000 to get that second citizenship instead of $100,000 like St. Kitts is asking for. That'd be perfect, man. If
Hey,
you don't want to
Doc,
go, you don't have to go.
Doc, you are absolutely right. And just like I say, man, when you guys read that plan, you have to read that last article on Section 9 and then first 2 articles on Section 8. And I'm telling you, it will make a significant impact for our people. We need this. We need the plebiscite vote, and we need to be living in 3 settings in this country. We don't need just to be living in integration. We need to have ready land in the South, because that's where the majority of blood from Africans was spilled during slavery. We need to have repatriated land in every place throughout the diaspora, just like you said, Dr. Ross. Every place where Black people were enslaved and exploited. We need to have repatriated land there. And we need to have sovereign land in this country so we can begin to bring our people together. It don't matter if you're Christian or Muslim or Crip or blood or rich or poor, Democrat, Republican. We got to bring the Black family together. We got to work hard to get out of the slave mentality. We have got to come together as a people to save ourselves.
Just the 2 points. You know, you always, brother Ishmael Ben Israel, you know, he took Black people back to Israel and started Black people in Israel, but you know, the original Jews were Black, but
right.
He had a movement back then. You had Mario Padelli formed a place in Jackson, Mississippi called the Republic of New Africa. And it, you know, it didn't run. We had a place called Soul Town in the 60s. There was a number of efforts of Black people to get dual citizenship, as the good doctor is saying. It has to be an agreement between, as a part of the reparations, between the United States and whatever country that you want to have dual citizenship. It has to be an agreement between that country and the United States. It's a challenge to get dual citizenship for Black people to the continent of Africa. Marcus Garvey, as Brother Joe brought up, had a movement to go back to Africa to start industry and economics in Liberia, Sierra Leone, and you know what happened to that? It's a challenge, but the plan, as the doctor said, you know, is one that should be out there with the rest of all the other plans of reparation. Should have a national dialogue. Getting young people to vote is going to be a challenge. Getting the 18-year-olds to vote in a structured way. But then, you know, if they're voting for something they want, if they see something they want, they may participate.
That's
But,
exactly
you know, getting them registered, and as the doctor said, you don't want to just do it electronically because you'd be hacked. But you do want to fill out a way in which you can do that. That's a part of the plan to set up.
Yes, sir. Because we do have more than one. We do have more than one way to get it done, though. So we're just not going to rely on the electronic, because we are aware of the possibilities that the vote could be discarded.
Well, that's expensive, setting up a national voting. That costs a lot. That's why each state is responsible for its own voting. But the taxes, you have state taxes, you have federal taxes, you have income taxes, you have property taxes,
right? And
you have hidden taxes like car registration. That's a tax, but they don't call it a tax. They call it car registration. They don't want to make people think they taxing you. In certain states, you don't even have to pay for registration. So you know, it's a mixed bag of stuff. In Nevada, you don't pay state tax. I mean, I think you don't pay state taxes, but you do pay income tax. Income tax go to the federal government. Property taxes go to the counties and the states. Oh man, it's just crazy. It's crazy.
Yes,
Sales tax go to the cities and counties. It's a structure, brother. It's a structure. Yeah. Go ahead. Generating revenues is a structure. Brother Rashaki? Anybody else, Brother Stafford? Anybody else have any comments? Kelly? Anybody before we close out?
Yeah, I got a question, just something off subject. I'll ask Brother Cliff Pruitt if it is not too. Now, I was reading your page and I saw basketball.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
yeah, I saw it in 1979. You talking about the year with, I want to say Darren Day and all those guys? Yeah, that was your class, 79?
They went to class with me, sir.
Okay. You yeah, Vernon Day, I was Compton Dominguez. I remember the Hamilton brothers. That's when I came in, kind of knowing a little about basketball but Vernon Day, okay, man. Cool.
Yes, sir. I'm a city boy.
You got drafted, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But I ended up having to make my career in Switzerland, though.
Now that would be a nice state to get a second passport, man.
Oh, Switzerland is a beautiful
I
place.
think that would be my Hembrick. Hembrick needs to go there. I think they got a little tax thing that he'd be happy about, man.
Yeah,
He can do that offshore stuff.
They don't allow immigration.
Oh, yes, Switzerland is a beautiful place. You get a lot of tax breaks in Switzerland too.
But it's too cold for a brother in Switzerland.
Yeah, it is. You got to have your winter suit on, that's for sure.
I ain't dealing with that. That's for Europeans. I'm from the sun.
But the summers are beautiful in Switzerland, brother.
Hey, I don't want to be in Europe, no place.
I ain't mad at you for that either.
All right, Brother Rashaki, you gonna talk about next Wednesday show?
Okay. Yeah, so on Wednesday, let me take us to the page so people can come right on in. On page, and you see Brother Cliff right here. Then we have Wednesday, we got Dr. Mike. Realize, determining reality for Black Americans. So that's on Wednesday at 6. Everybody's welcome.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was talking to the doctor this evening. It seems like it's going to be real exciting information. I encourage everyone to tune in. I think he's going to light it up and put something on folks' mind. So.
I didn't share that. Here it is, everybody. My mistake. Here it is. So you can come right on in just like he did this evening. So here we go.
Sounds like a reparations related topic to me. I'll be there.
Come on, you're welcome anytime. We'd love to have you.
All right.
All right, Brother Cliff, do you have any closing remarks?
Oh, no,
Well,
the grains of sand. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my plan with your audience, and I hope maybe in a couple of weeks we can schedule a program to talk about the plan. Give everybody a couple of weeks to read it, and then let's talk about it.
Well, we'll see about that. All right, I'll try to reschedule you. Okay.
Yep, and we talk about the plan.
Yeah, and we encourage people to read the whole plan so you can discuss it.
Thank you.
All right. Brother Hembrick, do you have any closing remarks?
No, just appreciating the format this evening and great show, and I look forward to reading the plan.
Reverend Stanford, do you have any closing remarks?
No, sir, other than I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate the intelligent dialogue concerning our people. And I appreciate all you brothers and sisters who care about humanity.
All right, Sister Kelly.
Yes, I'm glad to hear that this is going on, and I'm happy to hear that you're going to come back again and talk about it further. I think it needs to be talked about. Thank you.
Yeah, we have a lot of various discussions, and you can go to the website to see who's speaking in the subject. We're on every Monday and Wednesday, and we give praise and thanks to Brother Rashaki Maskani for creating this platform where we can have free, frank, and broad discussions on issues that affect the quality of life and the forward flow of Black people in the movement for their liberation, free themselves so they can be themselves. And we're just thankful, and you're welcome to come in, not just for the reparations discussions, but other discussions. We discussed the abortion issue. We discussed the violence. We discussed gang activity. We discussed the vaccine issue. We discussed various issues that affect Black people. So you're welcome, Kelly, to come in, and hopefully you will too, Pastor Stanford. And if you have an issue that you want to discuss, you can contact us on the website or just, yeah, mainly by the website, or you can just call me, 310-505-2358, 310-505-2358. We have discussions, and we'll bring up those various discussions. This program will be on YouTube, and you can pull it up and hear your questions and hear the discussion again. Hopefully you'll pull it up, but these are some of the subjects that we have discussed, and they're all on YouTube, and they're all also on the website. You can pull it up and listen to some of the issues. We really recommend that you do that. And if you know someone else that you think is interested and have a discussion, we don't demonize Black people. We don't say Black people ain't doing nothing, because Pruitt has proven that Black people are trying to do things with his plan. And we don't, even if you disagree, we don't allow you to be disagreeable. We don't use profanity. We don't argue amongst ourselves. We welcome people's views, and this is a platform for that. So hopefully, and even if you want to discuss something, you can use our platform, the Conscious Corner. Just let us know what the subject is. And as long as it's a good subject and substantive subject, not no conspiracy theories, but actual facts about Blacks, we'll roll with it. So, hey, that's about it. Brother Raskani, you want to go ahead?
I just was showing where we have on audio, we have it on the website, all of the shows that we did previously. We coming up on a year in existence. That's on the podcast. You can go to the website and get the podcast. We have it audio there. And then I'll show you on YouTube also. Well, I think I erased the YouTube. I did.
You showed it already.
Okay, on YouTube, here it is. I'll show it one more time, where you could go. And we're also Community Education Network on YouTube. And these are all of our videos. We have a lot here, and we're going to keep doing it. Okay.
Black male-female relationships, fatherhood, parenting, all of that. So hopefully you'll tune in to hear other individuals make presentations and ask questions and discussions, because our motto is that each one teach one.
Yeah, and Conscious Corner.
All right. That's
All right.
about it, right?
All right. Thank you, Rob. Thank you. I appreciate both of you brothers. I'm out of here. Hotel.
Hotel.
All right.
Ashe, Hetty.